Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to the thing again, another Friday evening. We hope that you all had a great week. We hope that the time that we are living in does not sway your happiness, doesn't sway your faith. And we hope that you have been holding firm and strong in the Lord. Amen, my brother. So, as we normally do, before we start, we're going to get some testimonies here. I want to start this week. My testimony for this week is food, people, food. I ate again this week. Benson, I ate some good Creole lunches this week. It was amazing, as usual. But more than that, I think this week showed me enormously how great patience is to a Christian, how great patience is to a young man. That is my 2 cents for this week. Yeah.
I think this week I asked God to put some structure to my quarantine life because I am not essential service, right? So
You're home, boy.
I am home.
Nice life.
Last week was, real. I was like, Lord, nah, help me, give me some focus.
Right.
Understand? So this week I would have picked up practicing back the bass guitar, so at least some hours for the day, at least for 3 hours, at least 2 hours on the bass, an hour on the drum, or something like that. So I'm picking up the bass guitar.
Man, sharpening during the quarantine.
Right? I mean, you had to be active. And I think about in this quarantine for individuals, find something to do creative.
Yeah.
Find some ways and means to keep yourself active, whether you're planting, you're sewing, knitting, something.
Can you be out your house to plant?
In your backyard?
Oh, okay.
All right, you get your own little backyard garden and,
Right.
organize yourself. Don't let it stress you too much. Don't be bogged.
Yeah.
Right? Find some time to read. I started doing some reading this week. Not bad at all. I must say I want it. Really, thank God for this week. It was a lot better
Than last week.
Oh,
he was just doing nothing. Just pulling stones.
Last week was a struggle for individuals, like real extroverts and things.
Yeah.
Who normally just to come in and just be.
No gym, boy.
Inside, no gym, no kind of.
No gym. Anyway,
Yeah.
this week, funny story. We were supposed to have the females of Friday Evening Talks. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we aren't the only people behind the scenes. There are so many other people. But yeah.
Unforeseen circumstances.
Yeah.
We weren't able to get them.
But what came out of it was a great topic. Marty McFly, welcome Benson to the future.
Back to the
Great
future.
Scott.
Right? And sometimes we just play that we never watch movie and TV and thing. Come on, all of us
you watch Back to the Future.
Seen Back to the Future.
Great
We've
Scott.
seen one of the various
Yeah.
series that exist, whether the animated form or the actual TV series. You have seen Back to the Future.
Of course.
And so
It's only obvious.
it's a story about past versus present and what one person might have done in the past would have thrown off one of the future timelines. And so this evening, Friday evening,
Ladies and gentlemen.
there are some questions we would like to pose and try to answer. And for those that have us on Facebook, we are open to your questions. As always, you ask, and we try to facilitate your questions concerning the topic.
Yeah.
Right? And so we're exploring how much weight does a person's past have in terms of going forward.
Yeah,
Whether you're a young person looking for somebody to get married to.
Yeah, so it's 2 categories. We're looking at worldly, in terms of the worldly things around you, as Bronson was saying, the marriage thing,
for courting and
the job thing,
Right.
that's the worldly thing in general. Now and in the future, how it will affect it. But we must touch about how Christ sees our past, how he sees our presence, and how he's going to see our future. Yeah. Brunson,
Yes, sir.
why you pick them topics here? Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we have the great young men in the studio tonight.
We'll leave them out for tonight.
They look like they're itching to get asked questions. But anyway, don't worry, we are practicing social distancing. They are very far.
Right.
Very, very far.
So,
But anyway, go ahead, boys. Let me start.
so the first aspect we want to deal with, and the reason for this topic even coming about was because me and a young lady was having a discussion, and this kind of came up in terms of, we saw a post, and she was like, she agreed and she disagreed at the same time.
Right.
In terms of how much weight the person's past have on her deciding whether or not she would be with the individual, even think about marriage with the individual. Right? So she said it was like a double-edged sword in that
Wow.
she wasn't quite sure, she didn't fully agree and she didn't really disagree. You know, when we had Lawrence with us the time,
Right.
you introduced Lawrence as being good stock. So tell me, what is good stock?
Wait, why are you doing this?
You tell me what is good stock.
What's good stuff, boy? I think we'll just say it and don't even know what it means.
And that's the thing.
Yeah, we'll just be like, he comes from good stock. He's a Hislop. Well, in Lawrence's case, he's a Hislop. I know 5 generations of Adventists, so he's good stock. Wow.
Like,
What is good stock, Benson?
how we really go about identifying if somebody is of good stock, right? So that means, therefore, for me to say,
Wait, what we want to use as our definition? We want to use our just basic me and you everyday
for good stock, I guess so. Because
Right.
I think how people tend to identify somebody as being of good stock. They
Most
look, they look,
yeah, from
they
your
look
parents
past.
in the past.
They look
But they
past.
even look you. They look
at where you come from.
Yeah.
And I used to
I'm
tell
very
you,
sorry. I am very, very sorry,
Who's that?
Benson. You don't know his mama.
okay, mommy,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
But as we were saying, people tend to,
Right.
normal man tend to look at where he come from, who's his grandparents, his parents,
Who's your mother there? Who's your mother?
who's his father, and all that thing to determine whether or not I am good stuff.
Them robbers from up Charlottesville. Me know your grandmother.
Jack is from Charlottesville, sir. Roberts is
Yeah,
from,
sure.
right.
Anyway, them Jack from up Charlottesville. Me know him.
Right.
And his mother
so-
used to catch fish long time.
And so if it is, and I say unfortunately, if it is my grandfather named with Stinker Road, or as we would say Stinker
Yeah.
Road, or what we say, how do we
Out there.
Yeah, out there.
Yeah.
You know, they would say, nah boy, he not good. Like, but honestly, like, if people knew, like, my great grandfather, Boatman, rest his soul, Boatman, Boatman
there.
Roberts, I hear. I never
Clearly.
met the guy. I hear Boatman was out there.
Clearly, our great grandfather was more out there than we are.
Then, whew, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
But thank God. Thank God for his mercies that don't affect me at all. Thank God.
That's the thing.
I think over the years, it has changed in terms of what we deem as being important. We no longer look to older generation to decide what is best for me now. Right? Remember we had it the other live where we were talking about how much a parent should be involved.
yeah,
These like a great parallel. It shows that we, as a generation now, as young people now, don't really go and be like, oh, say mommy, granny was from here. And we don't go into all them intricacies. We just be like, I like you. You have good personalities. You are Adventist. Forward road. Straight talk. Yeah.
but then some individuals do things like that.
And some benefits do that. So anyway, so Branson. Let me see. You meet this young lady,
Right.
right? We had used 2 scenarios. Two young ladies, you see, and like one of them probably had a checkered past. One of them doesn't. The one with the checkered past could cook. No, remember food. I love food. She could cook. The other one with the clean, prim and proper way, can't even boil water. Does her past count then?
My friend, hear how I would put this, right?
And should a young man consider her past when she can't cook? Oh gosh, but she can't cook, eh?
If our house even can't cook, it isn't a deciding factor.
Right.
If I am who I am, man, I'm supposed to be able to take care of the house first before the young lady. So I should come with the foreknowledge of cooking. Young men, you must also be able to cook for yourselves.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Right?
I present to you Bronson Roberts.
No, but we're being real.
Yeah.
How much weight does her past carry? And is the thing about how you see it?
I think so too.
And it's about how you see it. And here's why. If her past doesn't affect me,
Right.
if her past doesn't affect her, so then why should we allow outside influences?
That I was going to get to because
Why do we
know,
allow outside
that's happened.
influences to come in and to
Right.
sway our minds here or there? Now, as you bring up that scenario, real scenario of a young lady who was in the adult film industry, who is no longer in that lifestyle,
Right.
who has now gotten married, right? And the comments I would have saw, and actually I was able to see that, I think it was either today or last night.
Right.
And the comments under that comment section of the individual and her husband and thing was like, nah, them could never do that. Ting, 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 and ting, ting, ting. But that
And easy to
guy
know. Yeah.
would have known about her adult
past.
industry past
And
and
still
still
accept it.
chose to accept that young lady.
Wow.
That would make
Yeah.
that would make an interesting story to ask him, like, what's
he
the
has-
defining factor to him?
He has gumption. I'm going to all people. He has gumption.
Yeah, he has some belly.
He has some, yeah. He has some belly. I think that we as individuals need to, personally, on our everyday life, need to subscribe. You see, we're going to just jump straight into the Christian part. But we need to subscribe to the fact that we all have done something in our past. If night should turn to day, according to that songwriter, most of us will run away. And it shows us that you, the young lady or the young man, everybody around you, the gentleman here, that gentleman there, you, me, we all have a past.
Right.
And we all should keep that in mind. Keep in mind that you aren't perfect.
Correct.
And that person is not perfect just like you because there isn't no little sin and big sin. And these are the things that we have to get at. There isn't any little sin and big sin. So your past in Christ's eye, with your lying and your little sweetie that you take from the shop without telling, and her adult industry life in Christ's eye is the same.
Right.
It has no big. But you see, what goes on is that we
Society.
allow outside influences, society, the to say that person isn't good enough. She isn't good enough. He isn't good enough. Let's do away with them. But on that point, Bronson, on that point, how much do we allow the outside influence to affect? Because an older person telling you this could have some
wisdom to it.
Somebody else must have some water.
Right.
So how much do you allow?
And that's a very
From
good
the
question.
past.
And there needs to be a certain level of discernment because
Right,
on one hand, you can't totally disregard the past.
right.
And for those on our lives, you want to hear and you want to get some feedback from you all, right? On one side, I don't think you could totally disregard and totally
Right.
throw away somebody's past. So then you have to be able to find the middle ground whereby you know their past, you accept it. However, from here on else, they're seen in a new light
Right.
and you could see them moving in a different direction. This is no longer who they are. And this is no longer going to define the individual going forward. Right? So even though I hear what the elder person might be saying, right? Have a discussion with the person. And if it's something that I could live with,
Yeah.
I would live with it. But if I'm seeing that, all right, based on what the other person, the elder person that I might trust is telling me, and might be something I might agree with me, and he's saying, you said that quality is not for you,
Right.
then I might take heed and
My thing about it is, especially in relationships, We don't we deal with relationships now. We will deal with other personal aspects of the past just now. But especially for relationships, the past must be brought into your decision making. But it's not a matter of criticism. It's a matter of understanding, because plenty times we make mistakes based on our spiritual level at a point in time, as point blank time period, and plenty times because of things around us, the influences we have around us. Now, if those influences are no longer there, and that person generally moved from that point, then you understand the person's growth.
Right.
And that's a big thing for you, to see how that person
Would have
dealt
grown.
with a situation and have grown from a situation. That is why you need the past. Because if you don't see that, if you can't
So then
identify where a person has been through a situation and
where they
grown
come
from a situation,
Yes, boy.
yeah, you're just wasting your time.
So then, because you now understand what is it the person is now doing
Right.
in the future. Because you've seen where they come from.
Especially how they got deal with a situation in the future.
Exactly. How they would deal with the situation going forward.
Right.
Based on how they would have done it sometime
Yeah.
in the past.
So, sorry, remember we said that we will have our phones on us because the comments
For
are
different
here.
reasons, right?
Right. Somebody was saying that sadly, the comments you saw, I guess they were speaking about the adult industry lady, are being heard among us Christians who are supposed to be different.
And so let me go jump into this section whereby how do we really treat individuals who come into church,
Oh gosh.
right? Because you know, the baptized when they're coming, sometimes they might not be fully over what they might have been going through.
When
And
does
so
saving
they're
take
on
place?
that-
When does salvation take place, Branson?
They're
Does
on
it
that
take
journey.
place at the watery grave, or does it take place 5 weeks after the watery grave?
That
Branson?
could be a discussion for who another life.
Branson.
We will go into
Elder.
No, but I'm just saying that in the case of somebody coming in, we can't be hard and fast as to
Especially
some of
with
the,
youths.
as to some of the individuals who would have been
Yeah.
here donkey years. And so even being here donkey, they by and large become part of the problem, because you now see down there in their seat. And instead of offering the young lady to make a cloth, to buy she clothes and thing, you stand up, you sit down there in the corner with your nice big hat and thing, you sit down, look how that one there just a come at church. They say the shot, the frack shot, and all she bobby there do. You fed up here them thing there.
Wait, you say just like a old man.
No, and that's the reality.
You
That,
said just like that, Branson.
that happens.
Oh my
my
gosh.
brother. That
Yeah.
happened. They're quick to sit down there, but they would not offer any advice. They would
Right.
not
And these
go
are what we
to
face
her.
as young people. So we're saying that this is not where we should be when
Correct.
it comes to people. Now, I want to say one point, and then we're going to segue to other personal aspects in our personal life.
Alright.
I want to make one point. Does that only apply to the person who is coming into church for the first time? What about the young people in church all the time and make a mistake? Let me draw a very popular reference. A young lady got pregnant.
I know you was going there,
You
but
don't know that. And then she get pregnant because then you don't know. We are going to be like, no. Plenty of us be like, no. And we cannot be kind of hands off. And then
hands off in terms of what?
hands off. When my hands off in terms of what? Hands off in terms of hands off, Manson. We're not calling, we're not talking. When we see she, it's no longer, hello sister. They move from that to that. Hands off.
No.
We're no longer interested in the individual as a young person, because we know plenty young females face this, and we have to say consistently, because one of the reasons for females leaving our organization and our spiritual community is because they felt slighted in some form or fashion by the organization and the church body.
And so I have two things to say to that. One,
Right.
young ladies' trust and eyes should be fixed on Christ,
Amen, brother.
not the church.
Amen.
Two, until we come to the point of acting out of love, as Christ would have us to do,
Oof.
we would always have that kind of situation developing.
Yeah.
Simply because we're not interested in the person's well-being, right?
Yeah.
We're looking at how the church will look and not how, and we're not interested in saving the individual. You know what I'm saying? So until we make that transition from how church will look to wanting that soul to be saved,
Right.
thereby we make steps to go to the sister, because God would have given us
Yeah.
they did guidelines in terms of when somebody would have fall or overcome with a fault, how to go about it.
Right.
So until we come to that point whereby our emphasis is on love and soul salvation, we're going to have problems where
Right.
individuals fall and we just, instead of helping them up, we continue to stamp and kick them down.
Fair. And I think we must learn to accept the fact that at each stage of our spiritual journey, we are still like newborn in terms of how Christ sees us spiritually. We're still fresh to Christ. So we should never see ourselves as being all anything and secure. We must always see ourselves as always learning and always growing. And that would definitely help when you have to deal with somebody else. I truly believe that. I honestly believe that. Go ahead. I think you have a comment that you want to make.
Moses Thomas, or brother Moses, yeah, he said, how did Jesus choose Peter, James, and John, knowing fully well that they had a terrible past?
Fisherman, you know. You ever went up on the fish market of Charleville? There are fishermen on the block.
Yeah,
Fishermen, you know. Fishermen. And this is why we had to draw this point. We have to remember, 12 disciples that God picked was 12 fellas.
Some of them was
Christ saw
different
more in them than what we saw.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, what they even saw in themselves. Remember Peter was saying, who am I? Lord, who am I? Matter of fact, even down to the end, Peter chop off a man else. So we see that that these things do happen. That Christ's choice is always the best choice, no matter what. And the thing, when we have to pattern our lives against Christ to become better, we have to realize that how Christ sees people is hearts. Right? We have the ability to see hearts now. Just looking at oneself. Just see yourself in the person's situation and just be like,
how would you want to be treated in that situation?
Amazing. Amazing.
Shaquille said, some would say if one's spiritual life or eyes are on Christ, they would overlook the person's past or history.
As I was saying, I think I little I touch it. I say, yes, they won't judge the person's past.
Right.
I don't think it's a matter of overlooking because it's there and human beings will remember. So they will remember that, okay, this happened so by so. It's like I having that conversation, which is what I wanted to go to. Let me go there one time. About offices in church. If somebody was a thief, known thief, 4 feet, he lived by a cord, 4 feet comes back to church, he changed his life. We know
4 feet does thief win.
All does he pass? For all intents purposes, no. The man no longer steals. He's a man of Christ. Do you, my dear brother, put him as treasurer?
Does he have the capability to become treasurer? And we should not, be attempting to tempt our brothers.
These are what everybody say there. These are politically correct answers. You know what I mean?
What does he want me to say? We should not be a part of our brother's downfall. So if you know your brother's weakness, it's that he could thief win on a breezy day. Right?
He no longer steals.
Right, he no longer steals. And we say amen, glory be to God for that.
But would you not put him as treasurer?
We would not put him as treasurer. We will put him somewhere that will be more acquainted to what he is now and what will help him continually. And not put him in a state of always being tempted then. Right?
I have so much to say on that, but you see, Christ's take on this would be to put the brother there. Because you see, temptation is not a sin.
It's yielding.
It's yielding to the temptation is a sin.
Right.
And between me and you, Christ wants you to overcome temptation. Christ was tempted in the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights, you know, Bronson.
Correct.
So we're going to tell Christ he should not go in the they just have to fast and pray. Because Christ knew he was going to be tempted for 40 days and 40 nights. He's Christ. He knew.
Right.
He still went. Christ knew he was going to the cross, you know.
So then
he prayed, you know.
So then, right.
Begging Christ, he said, Lord, if this be possible, take this away from, let this cup pass from me. Pressure.
Right. So then, you're telling me then, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength.
Right.
We put the brother there, having him lean on the power of Christ.
Right.
Because even though the treasurer is not the only person that deals with money in the church. Right.
Yes, I get 3 treasures with 4 feet.
Right? Because Alan now telling me, asking me if he alone, treasurers alone necessarily don't really check money and those kind of things.
So you don't have to put him alone, but
once he's capable.
Would you be amazed that if you put him in that situation, he will outperform everybody else in that situation and just because he understands that
how money works? And that's a possibility, a
and
very
these
strong possibility.
You see, living a Christian life is a different type of lifestyle. You know?
Yeah, right.
A different. You
know?
We are separate ourselves from the cultural norms.
Our whole human
psychology and thinking is out the door, you know, Bronson. when I look at Christ's life and he picked Judas in the get-go, he picked Peter he told Peter and Judas in subtle terms that they were going to betray him, you know.
Yeah.
Peter said, not me, Lord, how could be me? Me and you brethren from a long time. He said tonight before the cock 3 times. What's me? One them people come to Peter. Peter bad them up, you know.
Yeah, boy, you're accustomed.
Peter bad them up. I don't know he. You had to tell me, know him at all. 3 times, Bronson. 3 times, Bronson. This is what I'm saying, is that Christ's standard for us is no longer rooted in our understanding of self and what we think is right by human standard. No. I know there are going to be a lot of people who are going to be like, be fool for Christ, not for man, because they know there are people who love it. Or be wise as a servant. Ladies and gentlemen, wisdom is not even of yourself, you know. Preach, Jackie, preach. Wisdom is not even of yourself. Wisdom is of Christ. So unless you ask Christ for the discerning eyes in a situation, wisdom cannot enter. Do you understand me, Brother Ronda?
I'm hearing you.
You're hearing me. Ladies and gentlemen, unless your decision is rooted in a conversation with Christ, your wisdom is not.
Yeah.
So your understanding of things and, no, that makes sense. You had a conversation with Christ? Well, no, but I know you had a common sense met before book.
Yeah.
I know that don't make no sense. Did you have a conversation with Christ, my brother? Did you? Christ sent Jonah to Nineveh, you know. To Nineveh, you know. It's like Christ sending you to Lavantil, you know.
Right.
That was not a wise decision at all. And he thought, that ain't making no sense at all. And Christ says, it's not a big fish for him.
You're going to be in the middle of Rasta City and whoever worrying, boy.
Yeah, the word Jesus loves you and he wants you.
You're going to think twice.
And you should put down your guns. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It really sounds logical. But Christ sent him. Do you understand? Christ sent him. So that's how we had to see wisdom as being a conversation with Christ. Go ahead. I see it.
Father would have said Jesus transforms people. Allow the transformation to happen. So it's not for us to decide when a person transforms.
Right.
How the person should transform or how we think they should behave. Right?
Yeah.
It's about allowing that the Holy Spirit to have his way within the individual and take them step by step till they reach to where, until they could reach, they on their own continually growing and growing with Christ.
Right.
For the end goal for all of us is to get to heaven.
Right.
And so we'll have to agree with him.
I agree. I really agree. By the fruits you shall know them. I know some that hate that up, by the fruits you shall know. But you remember, the fruits are no longer apple. It has now been pear because they have accepted Christ. And Christ will have made a transformation in their lives, and they have no longer seen that light and want that light for themselves.
We are a new creature.
Mm-hmm.
Old things would have been cut off spiritually.
Right.
Cut off from that individual. And if you understand, when it is you're cutting off the old man, what you're really doing is changing your way of thinking. That's why when you said, the Bible said, let this, and always come back to this, let this mind be in you, which is also of Christ Jesus.
Right.
It's about a rewiring of the mind and how we think. Like, just going back to the same point, it's no longer how we would see it.
No.
A casting of our own understanding, therefore, so that we can now appreciate things differently because why? Our mind is fixated on Christ. And so that individual's past, do I understand it? Do I see it? Wouldn't carry the weight like it carried before. I might not, even if I don't take the person to be like, because the past might be, I might take the person to be my girlfriend or my wife. But it doesn't mean I discard the individual.
Brunson, you remember that
No,
that man in the Bible?
Oh, with Hosea?
You know I was going to come to Hosea. And Christ says, take her.
That was already his wife.
But she went back in the thing, eh?
All right.
And then he had to go back for she, eh?
And that was just,
my brother?
And basically that was illustrating us. We keep running away from Christ, going and hurrying after different things, idols, what have you. We keep turning our back on Christ. And what Christ does, just like he did, he keeps coming after us, beseeching us to not run from him, but hey, come on to me. I love you with an everlasting love, you know. I'm not going to go away that easily. So even though she went out there, he went after her, like how Christ would come after us. To say,
seeking diligently.
You're not
until
a lost
he finds that lost coin, that lost sheep. You are that lost coin, you are that lost sheep. Ladies and gentlemen, hey, Fally and them get on bad on the thing. You see, when someone is transformed, their fruit shows it. They automatically start behaving differently and more Christ-like. Do we agree? Do I agree, Brunson? Do I agree? Right. Do I agree?
I would
anyway,
like to...
your point? Let me give my point.
I would say that...
And then somebody get another big point. Is transformation for us to see or for God?
And that's the thing. I was saying, I don't want to be running around like a fruit detector. That's not my work.
At all.
Run around and be a fruit detector, right?
Spiritual police.
I'm looking for apples and pears and things. No. Right? What,
you working man up?
You want to see what good and what's bad?
What about you?
Right? Hear what I'm saying? I want to be able to, on my spiritual journey, when that person comes into contact with me, right?
His pear becomes sweeter.
That is the thing. Yeah. We have to have that effect on one another so that if I notice, okay, I'm attaching myself to this individual, but I'm going off course, and I see in a different kind of fruit than the one that we said we was going and prepare.
Right.
We say we group in green grapes. Right. And I see in red plum. Right. Then then
somewhere off. Fruit boy. Like you my man, so.
You know?
Yeah.
Then you're no way off.
Yeah.
So I'm not. It's not for me to look and go around for every individual to say, nah, them their fruits. No. Because me doing that, I don't know my fruits might be showing.
Oh my.
So you're looking for everybody else's fruits and somebody looking at your fruit.
Yeah, man. Oh my.
You know?
Yeah.
So your point.
My point on this, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think that we need to separate ourselves from being spiritual police. For long, that's why we've been preaching that. I think we, as Christians, as young people, have been faced consistently with the fact that everybody else around us wants to police our spirituality. Now, it's good to have the older generation lead.
Helping and guiding, correct.
Is this thing when Pastor Kelly was saying, he was talking about Joshua and Moses' generation. That comes into my mind at this point in time. You see, Moses was there and Joshua was learning. Moses wasn't chastising. Moses even gave Joshua important tasks to run in with the 12 spies to look at the city. It's an important task, you know. I would have gone in depth into the spiritual ramifications, right? But we're not there. But we see that it's needed. The old people, the older generation, the
Right.
people who have been in it for long. But you have to understand
They have to be able to trust
that
young
you are
people.
suckling at one point in time. You did not walk before you creep. You crept. And you have to allow the people to creep. The knees must get blistered and bruised, praying for everything. And that's the thing, you know. In that creeping stage, Bronson, on your knees as a Christian, it's to build blisters. It's to build calluses on your knees so that you understand that every situation you are so weak, you need Christ.
Correct. And so,
If that character is built, Bronson, 5 years down the line, you move from creeping to walking because you already have that connection. You're already saying, God have me. Then your faith grows. You know what I'm saying? Your faith grows because you know you have been bruised, you have been blistered, you have been tried, you have been through a lot. So then it's easier to deal with a situation when it comes up. And then you know how it's easier? You look to Christ. Simple. And then they become better. But you see now, if we go outside and police people's spiritual growth. Now, I'm not saying there are things that we don't say. This is wrong.
Yeah, some things you have to be able to say.
Of course.
Right.
I am not going to say it. Bronson, if I say it, fire.
Right.
Fire. There are things that are clear cut.
Yes.
Wrong.
Wrong.
But the young lady coming to church with a shorter dress than normal. It's probably she doesn't have the clarity from Christ yet that she dresses too short. Because and another thing, let me make this point quick before I think. If I go to a young lady who has a short dress, right? I must have a relationship with that young lady. I must have a friendship and a relationship with that young lady before I go to her. If you are going to somebody to chastise them and you don't have a relationship with that person,
turn-off?
it's going to come across wrong.
Right, it'll be a turn-off. I understand what you're saying from that point of view.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
But it just, okay, so we're not giving them a pass
No,
either.
it's wrong.
It's wrong.
But allow my friend to tell me it's wrong.
Right.
Than you come and chastise me in that age. So, you know, you allow the growth. You allow the transformation to happen because we aren't the one to do the transformation. It's left up to the Holy Spirit. Anyway. Go ahead. Get your point. I talked plenty today.
Right.
Oh yeah, Amanda, big up, welcome. We're talking back to the future. We're talking about how your past affects your future, ladies and gentlemen. How do you deal with it? How does Christ deal with it? How we think is the best way to go about dealing with it as a young person. So, you want to give any example of how you overcame some things in the past?
I think when I would always go back to that is pretty much safe. I think my choice in music,
Right.
like I would always go back and say when I was in school, high school, I was a heavy dancehall fella, right?
Alliance and White All.
We used to really listen. Our class was a real dancehall class.
Cartel and
So
Mama Fado.
we used to know
Level.
all them tunes from off the top of our head. And
I don't.
someday I was like, what is the importance of this? This is not making sense anymore. I'm like, God allowed, and God just had to cut off those things for me step by step. So now I don't know none of the latest dancehall persons. I don't know. Well, I know the name because I work in school, so you would hear, right?
Right.
But when I say know it, I talking about in terms of how I used to know dancehall and songs and things. I don't know them thing no more. And that is one way God would have been able to prune and cut off some things where I used to do in the past that at the time made sense, but now it doesn't make sense.
So let me give you something. These are real testimony. I'm not frightened to get this one. You ain't freaking. Lyman. Brunson. When we hit Trinidad so and you have free road as a young person, as a young Christian. This is something that we should talk about, eh? How we gonna deal with this, eh? No topic. Brunson. Free road, you know. With Esdel and my boy, Roti number 2. Free road, boy. We was down there and we was zesting, according to young people. And at some point in time, I was like, yeah, this will make no sense. At first, I like standing up for long. I had to slap.
How people just do this thing, like,
I
I
was like,
don't know.
I took well for this. Stand for egg for long periods of time was just not.
I feel it's the alcohol had them stand out there for so
Bruh.
long.
First thing first, I think it don't even taste good. That is not juice. It's not juice. It's not juice. It's not juice. So that was just me. I was like, but you see, that was just my thing that I was easily overcome because music, I used to listen chronics and it's like hard to overcome sometimes not listening to our good chronics. You know
I
what I
hear
mean?
what you're saying.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
But by faith,
By
one day.
faith, we shall get there.
Right.
Yeah. And then I wouldn't like to think that at those times in my life, someone comes and be like, so you will thank God I didn't think that. Because so if I was to me and go, I get yeah.
You're like, you're shine up.
What? But I would not like to know that in those times I would not have nobody coming to me to comfort me and be like, I have been through this and this is how you deal with it and this is how you go about it. This is how I mentor, and you know I have a mentor to tell me through these things. I really am happy that I had that pass because when I line with people and hear other people's stories around that line, it's easier to relate. It's like, yeah, when you're downstream and you have total reading about everything you do and you come from a closed off environment.
Conscious about.
Yeah, it's like, I understand where the temptations involved and it's easier for me to relate to them. So I'm happy for that. And I'm happy that I didn't have nobody to, I'm happy that I was allowed to grow through that.
Have somebody beat you over head with a big stick.
That. So imagine I saying this now, brothers. We give them testimonies now and somebody else like, them could never be elders no more. what do we say? What do we say?
We go back to the biblical account.
Right.
Saul was a persecutor of the brethren, you know?
Right?
And on his way to Damascus, God do stop him dead in the tracks.
Make him a Christian in that moment, you know?
And turn him. He believed in Christ, but his belief was terrible misplaced.
Yeah.
And God had to use that
I say
zeal.
he gotta be saved in that moment. I feel he was saved in that moment.
God transformed that zeal and did a mighty work in terms of getting the gospel out to the Gentiles. Through him.
Big work, you know. The man
them other disciples and them fellas that was inside there.
Christ has called some kind of fellas, you know.
And that is the thing. That is why.
With some very checkered past, you know.
That is why God is a God of present and future, not so much person.
Wow.
When you're dealing with the spiritual aspect and somebody's growth and coming to Christ, Christ disregards your past in terms of setting you on a new ground and a new plane and sees where he could have you and where he could carry you in the future and what you can do for him. And in the end, what he wants you is to be saved in his kingdom because he loves us that much. Right?
Yeah, oh sorry. We was talking a lot of it. We had plenty of comments that jump out here, but yeah, knowing a person is important. Sometimes they just don't have the money to buy proper clothes. That was any clothes talk. Yeah, as I say, you must know the person. And back to what you were saying before, what are you talking about?
Talking about the transformation.
Yeah. I think that Christ is really amazing. No, I have my Bible open because I wanted to read the part with 70 times 7. I really wanted to understand, right? Let me dissect it. From Matthew 18:21 to let me go to 22, right?
Yeah.
And you understand the people talking and what was said. So then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how often shall my brother sin against me and I forgive him? Till 7 times? No. Remember Jewish culture. 7 times.
It's a perfect number.
So after 7 times, they go to cook. I can forgive her so much. Right now it's 3 times in our standards.
3 strikes and you're out.
I can forgive her so much. Jesus said unto him, I say unto thee, until 7 times, but until 70 times 7. You know, when I was younger, I was like, what, 70 times 7? 707,077. Okay, 49, 909. Right. So I counted now. 490. Right, good. So after 490 times Bronson, is it because after Christ, after that, Christ is stopped. So I wasn't really going to be nothing else after that. But then you have to understand, when Christ said that, he was telling the person, your 7 is nothing. You have to do that 7 by 7 by 7, 70 times. It's so much time you're forgiving the person. It comes like, that text basically means forever, you know. Yeah.
Feel so?
I know so. That text basically calls you to forgive a person no matter what. Stephen, let me go Stephen. Christ forgave them on the cross.
Alright, boy.
After all them drama and persecution he had to go through from before, during, and even after the cross.
And we're dealing with it in terms of, we're dealing with that in terms of the person's history not affecting the way you view them in the future. Because Christ would have given them a clean slate then.
Yeah?
Alright.
Damien, here is Damien.
Alright. Damien said, so what is the advice to young people now to keep them away from the zest of life or from making the wrong choices they make
No.
or they might make?
What I realized is that my lifestyle will not save everybody. My lifestyle will be very selective in a group that, for the mere fact that I have been through certain things that certain people can relate to. Not everybody will be able to relate to that because they're going to have young men who were good, like them young men in church, who might not relate to my story, right? And the thing is why human beings are very social beings. This quarantine thing, kind of look me up, But the reason why we are social beings is that we could draw experiences from a wide berth of people around us, right? My thing for my lifestyle is keep your friends and them in check. Keep your partner and them on. Hold yourself to a standard and hold your partner and them to a standard.
Right.
That's me. My thing is this. When you're out there, and you
Friends as carrier.
they can't bring you back.
Do ever bring you back?
Well, old people talk to me. My biggest thing. My biggest thing was knowing the influence I have. Even though sometimes I think I'm stronger than my friends in terms of mental fortitude. You'll be very surprised how you just, little by little, you just dwindling because it's like, well, you'll be like, I don't really like to drink, I don't really like how it tastes, but every time you go to line, because you know, you just take a little bit or two, and the next thing you find yourself drinking punching. And I'm like, but Trip, how you reach punching? You don't even like alcohol like that, you know what I mean? I just want to know how you fall so far. It all had to do with the friends you have. I guess Brunson getting what's up. Another thing too, for me personally, is that you have to become strong quickly. And this is more for parents and for adults. You have to make your children become aware quickly, especially now. Too much information. You have to grow strong EQ, you know what's EQ? In emotional intelligence, EQ. You have to groom a strong emotional intelligence in your child, in your mentee. Must. Because a child must learn to understand who he is and where he's going quickly. Brunson, long time, then old people are getting. No. At 12, a child must understand who he is. Whose he is. Because you don't know that his age when you hit high school. And if you don't,
you will get battered left, right, and center.
For sure, you have to. That's my big thing. Yeah. You want to say something?
Right.
I hear you know you're thinking.
Well, is this what I'm about to say is so somebody that's not a Seventh-day Adventist.
Yeah.
It was somebody, because we have other individuals who interact with us over the life. Now, what we do here is about some of the things that we would have loved to know when we were younger, and about helping others and other young people, right? So it's a conversation, and we explore different topics and how we would deal with it and identifying it with Christ. As because Christ is our center focus, and everything it comes back to Him, and so this is the vein in which we are going and which we are talking. So to answer Damien's question, I think you would have done an excellent job in terms of somebody down your lifestyle. I think, and you're correct in terms of that last part where the child must be able to identify quickly
Quick.
who they are and
Quick.
whose they are.
Yeah. Quick.
Because from the time that identity is informed, from the time they are not sure,
Yeah.
then the influences become easier to follow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And from the time that they have just one friend who seems popular and they want to be thing with that friend, and they might seem a little insecure, so they do whatever to get approval
From the friends
from the friends
around them, yeah.
Right.
Because imagine, remember last time we was talking with one of the partners who's not even an Adventist, not even I feel like a Christian. I guess all of us are Christians in Tobago in some form or fashion. He was like, influenced by people, and then plenty things will just be for smoke to fit into our clique. And that's not a bad thing, eh? We are human beings, have a herd mentality. Something to somebody else. We have a need to be felt a place.
Yeah,
we need
and
to feel
a sense
a
of
belonging. Yeah.
Right.
We have that need. So it's not a bad thing to be like, don't tell a child, stand out. In the sense that you should just completely forget about everybody around you and just be separate. That would not work because that's not how we are conditioned socially. What we have to do is say, pick the grouping you're standing out in.
Right.
Pick where you want to be in the grouping and perform that role and function with Christ as your spiritual guide and your mental guide.
Right. So we have about 5, so let's say 5.
But here these old men, the lions.
Right.
We hear these old men.
5 to 6 minutes remaining tonight, and I think I always want to spend this time reiterating the point, whereby your path to Christ means nothing.
Not at all.
No matter what background you come from, how much big teeth you was a big teeth, how much playway you used to play
I
with.
didn't call 4 feet no more. I call him Junior. I call him by name because I don't want him to associate himself no
Right.
longer with that name. So I just call him Junior.
Right, and that is the
I
thing.
don't call Tatablo. I just call him Cleveland. Serious.
We need to be of assistance to people
Yeah.
when they're making that change,
Yeah.
and not a stumbling block or some sense of deterrence, but always be in that mode to help people on their journey. See people doing better is not to slight them or sit down and be like, what them they trying to play, boy? What kind of thing them they on? I know where you come and see people like that.
Bro, I feel everything with them.
People that like to
Yeah, I feel that thing.
dig in your past and bring back those things.
It's because they're nowhere. Especially as
Right.
Christians, if you're doing that, you're not nowhere. You have to check your spiritual. Check it
As
quick.
Christians, that's a terrible thing to engage in.
Yeah.
In any shape, way, or form. They say, what them they take them play now? We know what them they used to be and ting. Christ ain't concerned where we used to be. No.
People tell them how we used to be. They'll be like, bro,
Christ is concerned in our here
you
and
didn't care about
now
them there?
and where he can take us in the
Yeah.
future. And that is what we want young people to understand. It doesn't matter where you would have been. It doesn't matter what you did before. Once you have handed your life over to Christ fully, Christ is able to take you up, make you new, plant your feet on solid ground and set you in a new path. That you don't have to really worry about what people might say. Once you know your identity is formed in Christ, you are a king.
treaty.
You are a king and a queen long before these work. People calling you king and queen and princess and thing. You are a royal priesthood. You are part of the lineage of Christ. So you are automatically royalty. Right? Accept Christ as your savior. Give Christ first place and know that your past is just your past with Christ.
Yeah. I have to say something after you say all that. I just want to say the main purpose of this life is the first conversation. Because I know we got plenty of people wondering what is the whole essence of it. It's the first conversation. The first conversation meaning when you fresh out of the world, if my fact, you might still be in the world. and you're deep in it, and then you have a then you have a understanding of self, and you're like, why am I here? Sometimes we don't have the first conversation, we have a third conversation. You should get baptized. No, people run to that quickly. You'll be surprised. And they don't have the first conversation where, okay, have an open conversation, what's going on with you? We just talk, we just say, yeah, boy, I remember I used to do that same thing with you, boy. That was real drama. And then we just have that first conversation where we be like, yeah, we went through this, we understand how you go through this. This is what I do to get out of it. I will reiterate that. This is what this life is about. That first conversation. So it might be heavily steeped in the third conversation part.
Right.
But we want people to be open on this platform. Why we want that to happen though is because we want you to feel accepted in your situation now by Christ.
I like when him got that point. I remember someone I preach about befriending the 3 P's of being a prophet or something like that. And one of making a disciple. The P's of making a discipleship. Or the principles of discipleship.
Right.
And one of the first one is befriending. And what Christ would have done was to
That's not
befriend.
pedo.
I know it was not P, but so I can't remember the exact wording of what the sermon. I have it right down there. But I know the principle was of befriending individuals.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what, if you look at how Christ conducted his ministry, Christ
a friend thing.
befriended
It
individuals.
was a partner thing. It was a chill thing. Yo, Christ was really
Right.
chilling.
And
But people
Christ
think man was well
associated
uptight, you know.
himself with people.
Everybody. Woman that you well.
No matter your status, no matter where. And so we need to come to that
Hey, I big some
understanding.
big sermons in this life, you know. Woman that you well. Peter
Right.
and the fishermen. Some big things, yeah. And it brings me to our theme song for tonight by Helen Baylor.
Where is that?
You know I can't sing, but we're going to sing tonight. Into the sea
Okay.
of forget.
Probably them fellas could pull that up for you as we go in. That Helen
And
Baylor.
I'm the one who keeps you.
So ladies and gentlemen, have a blessed Sabbath.
Thank
Thank you for joining us again
Into the
tonight.
sea
Remember,
of forgetfulness.
Put you all into Christ and your past doesn't matter when Christ
But so you cut my arms so East from
is
the
your
west,
maker and your director of the future. Thank you all very
17
much.
times 7. Yeah, I'm very sorry. Yeah, but do enjoy your week. Do enjoy the Sabbath in your quarantine. We must talk it. Remember, Damien, now come and tell me don't touch my face to make you all know that you can't touch your face during this time. I know it's very high, especially for me. I have ticks. I love to touch my bed. I don't know why. Yeah, but do not touch your face. Do not sneeze in your hand. Hand sanitize plenty. Wash your hand properly. I think it's so well. Oh, the thumb. Make sure and do these things, and please exhibit common sense. This one time you can exhibit common sense. Stay home. I don't understand how they know. Stay home. Chill out. Let me do the thing proper, man. Oh God.
All right, very good.
But be safe. Happy Sabbath. That's it?
Yeah, that is it.
Sure.
Positive.
Okay. Yeah.